Welcome to episode 8 of the Wheelhouse. I'm one of your hosts, Andrew. With me this week, as always, Sterling Gavinski.
Episode 8 only? Wow.
What do you mean?
Only.
I thought we were like episode 200 by now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So you got that red velvet cake that
This
I promised.
is the penultimate episode of Wheelhouse.
What?
We finish at 9. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I quit.
Fortunately, we don't.
That's
Double digits.
that voice of dissent is the only one who usually dissents here. Gus Rives.
Hello.
Why would 9 be our last?
I don't know. Sterling said it felt like we were at like 200 or something. It just feels like it's the right time to end things.
9?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it like 3 times 3 maybe? And there's 3 of us?
No, that's not what I meant.
Okay. Anyway. Gus, you said you have some things to talk about. You got a lot of media.
Oh, you're just jumping right into it. Okay.
What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. I thought maybe you. No. Okay. Well. Okay. So
Go. Media.
I've just been listening to quite a few albums. I returned to the Pixies after a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Doolittle and Surferosa. Still love Doolittle and Surferosa. I like more than I did when I originally listened to it. And then Pavement, Slanted, and Enchanted.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I like it better than I did when I originally listened to it. Still doesn't beat Crooked Rain though. And I got a book. I got
What?
2 books. One is about The Replacements, who I adore.
Yeah.
And then one is 500 albums over the course of 1981 to 1996 about the indie alternative rock albums. So they cover anywhere from my boys Husker Du to like Afghan Wigs and stuff like that. And so I'm just going one by one, listening to each one that they recommend. So I started with 100 Flowers, self-titled, which is like jangle pop. It's kind of like they're like the missing link between Wire and R.E.M, who
That's cool.
we'll be talking about later on this episode, actually.
Spoilers.
But yeah, so that was really awesome, actually. And then I returned to Spiderland by Slint,
I've listened to.
and I rediscovered
yeah.
the song Washer, which I love. I love the song Washer. So moody.
Did you
so
listen
dark.
to that one like 10-minute iTunes exclusive?
15-minute iTunes exclusive Utica Quarry at night or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just...
It's a sound collage,
They
right?
just, not even a sound collage.
I
They just
remember
turned
you
on a
telling me about
recording
this.
tape, and then they just let the sounds of nature take over.
Hey,
It's
what
really-
have you got
It's an
against nature?
iTunes exclusive.
Yeah.
But it's an iTunes exclusive. Why would you make that an iTunes exclusive? It's just that. There's no anything.
There's
I'm
no-
pretty
Like
sure.
incentive to not use iTunes to download.
Yeah. So yeah, Washer, great song. And then I've been playing a cult classic video game called Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Ooh, you playing that rare replay?
Rare replay.
Yeah.
And I just get the feeling that if I had played this when I was younger, I would have liked it a lot more. But the controls and camera are so frustrating.
I'm sorry.
Especially on the platforming sections, which
Yep.
there's a few of that are like very vertical, and you go very high, and if you fall, then you die, and it's really frustrating. But humor's still great, and it's definitely a one of a kind game. So
Did you play that Banjo Kazooie?
I've only played the first one, and I like it a lot. It's really
Cool.
good. Yeah.
So that was a summary of Gus's week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, who knows?
lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
about a week, I guess.
Oh my god, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I coincidentally actually listened to Surfer Rosa and Doolittle like 3 weeks ago or something.
Oh,
like
really?
that. Yeah, and I'd only listened to I guess a bit. Maybe you had shown me something on Doolittle, and I know Where's My Mind, like the song.
Yeah.
And really cool albums. Like I was very very into that.
Doolittle is so good.
Yep.
It's just from start to finish, it's so great.
Yeah.
Pixies are a very cool band.
They are
And we didn't
awesome.
mention them at all during the Nirvana Kurt Cobain
Smells
episode.
Like
Oh,
Teen
yeah.
Spirit
Yeah.
was his attempt to make a Pixie song,
Wow.
and he failed. And then he made one of the most popular songs
Songs of all
ever.
time. Whoops. Sterling, you...
I hate when that happens.
Yeah. Oh, it hasn't happened to me yet, but
Yes.
hopefully it will.
What have you guys been up to?
Well, Sterling said he saw a movie,
I saw Zootopia. Yeah. Last week or this past weekend.
which Gus said he had never heard of before, right?
And then you explained
and
the
the
commercial,
sloth.
and I was like, oh yeah,
The
okay, I
sloth
remember
trailer.
now.
Sixth
yeah.
sloth one, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Really, really good movie. I strongly recommend that you guys go see it. Not necessarily while it's in theaters, but it'd be really fun if we all went. It's really good, really funny, really cute, and it has a huge, like, really powerful and poignant social commentary, which I did not know anything about going in.
Mm-hmm.
But I did get that hinted to me like I guess it came out a couple weeks ago or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Or it's like 3 weeks, I think.
yeah, this one person who will go unnamed, this very conservative person who I'm friends with on Facebook, posted a review of this movie, and they were like, yeah, it was a great movie, except they were pushing the liberal agenda, and he listed this huge list of things that he considered problems with the film. Like he thought they were like mocking the Boy Scouts of America or something weird like that. All this bizarre stuff. But in fact, the movie is actually, it has like a really positive message for both younglings who are, very susceptible to information. So I could see how you could think it was brainwashing if you don't really agree with being a good person in general. But that's totally what the movie is giving off, and in way more ways than one. And it's funny and accessible for both adults and kids, which is something Disney does very well. And it's like if you liked Frozen, it's way better than Frozen. Way better.
I like Frozen.
Yeah. And like, that was like their last 3D animated one that wasn't a Pixar movie, right?
No, I'm looking here. It's actually, I guess,
Hero 6?
Big Hero 6, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Big Hero 6 is pretty good too, but
Never saw it.
Zootopia, way better than both. It's awesome.
Way better than both.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
I saw a headline from an online news source that I don't remember, and it said something like how Disney, their animation department is sort of rivaling Pixar now with stuff like Zootopia and Big Hero 6. I don't know if I'd agree with that.
Capabilities and whatnot of like what they make. Well, I mean, I guess I haven't seen Pixar's recent output. I'm trying to think of the last. Oh, Toy Story 3 was the last Pixar movie I saw.
You didn't see Good Dinosaur?
I didn't see Good Dinosaur. I didn't see Inside Out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Really? Oh,
Brave. I know Inside Out's supposed to be really good.
It is awesome.
But
Monsters
it just feels like
University.
it feels like in
Monsters
recent
University,
years it's just been like sequels.
Yeah.
And
That's where the money comes from.
I know that. And like Finding Dory's coming out soon, and I don't give a fuck about that. I really don't. Yeah.
A flying fin.
I could go in on my beef with Nemo. I like Finding Nemo, but I just got burnt out on it. But I don't know. So I could see how people might say that if people are getting tired of just sequels and whatnot from Pixar.
Yeah.
Gus, my final question. Do you live in a mansion?
What?
Do you live in a mansion?
Oh, yeah, he was wondering this earlier.
Yeah.
He already asked me before the show if I know of any mansions in the area.
Yeah.
Well, he never asked you if
you live in a
one.
mansion.
Wouldn't that be my first?
No, maybe
answer?
you wouldn't want him to know.
Yeah. Because
I wouldn't want him to know, and then he asked me directly, and then I'm like,
on air.
okay,
Yeah, I do.
yeah, I live
Catching
in a
you off
mansion.
guard, you
Yeah.
see? Because Sterling and I were talking earlier how we've never been to your house. And
Yeah.
for all we know, it could be some like elaborate Gatsby mansion.
Or he could be homeless and he actually just sleeps in the film classroom when we leave.
That's more closer to the truth.
Or his car.
But
I have to drive back home, guys. Just goes to the parking lot.
yeah.
Damn.
But have you been to Sterling's house?
Have I been to Sterling's
Yeah.
house?
A couple times.
Once or twice.
Yeah.
And you guys will soon be at my house,
Yeah.
which is in Maryland. But yet we haven't been in Gus's house, which is in Texas.
Yeah.
Little odd.
Yeah, well, Sterling's house is fairly close to campus.
Mhm.
My house is like 30 minutes away, and I don't like going to my house. I don't like inviting people over to my house. I'd much rather go to
Other
someone
people's
else's
houses.
house or somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm usually that way too, but like when I'm not at my house for a long time, I'm like, oh guys, let's go hang out at my house. We can pet my dog. Excuse.
Yeah, my dog doesn't like people. It's a Chihuahua. It's fat and it barks a lot. So that's another reason too. Yeah, that's just really annoying because she won't stop for like an hour.
That is annoying.
Um,
Well, I guess we
So,
should
yeah.
probably get this show thing going. Get this show on the.
What have we been doing the last 10 minutes?
This is the part we just
oh
gotta
shit,
just get out of the
we're
way.
recording.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, when I said mics are hot, that's what that meant. Not temperature wise.
Or attractiveness.
Yeah. Which,
Well.
all things considered, I would have to say Sterling's is probably the most attractive
Mine is
mic.
the hottest mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gus,
The mics are hot, but
he's got it's dented.
Yeah, my mic is a special mic because it's dented, it's ugly, but it's probably the best one quality wise. So
Ooh.
I actually have no evidence of that at all.
Anyway,
well,
which I've realized I say that a lot as a
Anyway.
transition.
I say a lot, so that's okay.
I just spout nonsense all the time, so I shouldn't talk.
Sterling's
anymore.
sick right now. So
I sound
give him a
gross.
break. Give him a
Sounds
break.
terrible.
Andrew, just
Yes.
please, mercy kill. Just get us into this.
If you would like to mercy kill Sterling,
Please email us.
email us. wheelhousecast@gmail.com.
Chris Santi, please email us
Chris
again.
Santi.
We're so
Where you at?
lonely.
Super
Please.
No, if you are a new listener to the Wheelhouse and you're like, what are these three hooligans doing with these microphones? Well, I'll tell you what we do. Every week, we each recommend a piece of media that the other two have not experienced. We go out, watch, listen, or play these recommendations, and come back and review them. This episode, we are actually not recommending a single thing. We actually, for the first time, having guest recommendations. We have three friends who have different media that they are recommending us, and this week it happens to be 2 movies and an album, and we'll play their recommendations. We have it recorded. That's for the end of the show, but for right now, we're going to move on to our reviews from last week's recommendations, starting with Automatic for the People, R.E.M.
Thought you were gonna mess that up.
I almost did. No, I kind of did. I'm sorry.
You did.
Let me do it again. Take 2. We will now review last week's recommendations, starting with Automatic for the People, 1992, R.E.M., Gus's favorite band of all time.
Not my favorite band of all time.
Automatic for the People is a
But-
15-second YouTube video
It
about
is.
an automatic toilet.
It's a 15-second YouTube video. Yeah, a guy walks into a restroom and the toilet seat pops up because it's an automatic toilet. So-
That was my favorite part, honestly.
Yeah, me too.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, if you go to our YouTube channel, Wheelhouse, those we have these pre-show playlists which has some videos we watch, and it's public and it's there, so you could see that automatic bathroom toilet as well.
Pretty sweet.
Anyway,
Andrew is the only one that puts those together.
yeah,
So
and I force you guys to watch
yeah.
it. Not even all of it.
I'm glad we saw that toilet, though.
I am too.
So, Gus, I think I said R.E.M's your favorite band, which is not,
It's not
but
true.
you think this is their best album.
Yeah, I did, but actually going back, I changed my
Whoa.
mind.
I love when stuff like that
I
happens.
changed my mind.
It's going to be a good one.
Originally, I thought Green was my favorite album, and I think I'm leaning towards Green again.
Green.
Also, I really like Reckoning. I really like Reckoning a lot. But I still enjoy Automatic for the People quite a bit. I think it's probably their... I don't even know how to describe it. Because their most commercial album, I think, was Out of Time, which came before it. But it's very clean. It's very, I would say, accessible, even though it's kind of slow and
Sad.
and sad boy rock. But it does have some pretty great songs from the R.E.M. catalog that I like a lot. It's just that there are also a few tracks that I could live without, honestly. But I'm interested to see how you guys
Yeah.
felt about it.
Yeah.
So I've listened to an R.E.M. compilation, which I know Gus is not a fan of. And the only other studio album I listened to in full was Murmur, which is their first, right?
The first, and usually it's either this one or Murmur that gets the best
Yeah.
R.E.M.
And I thought Murmur was very good.
accolade.
And
Yeah, Murmur's great.
Automatic for the People, that was awesome.
That was awesome.
Yeah. And there's a term, slow burn.
Slow burn, yeah.
For me, this album was just a burn.
Just a burn?
Yeah, usually I take notes, when I
Is
go
that a
listen.
good thing?
Yes, it's a good thing. I take notes, track by track usually. I
Yeah.
listen to it and then pause, in between tracks and take some notes. And only by the time I got to the end, I realized I put like a star saying I really like the song on over half of the tracks.
Wow.
And so, yeah, going through, I'm like, yeah, this is good. This is good. This is good. And then only looking back at it as a whole, I'm like, yeah, like almost like every song in here I really like. And the other part that I characterize as a burn is Michael Stipe's vocals, which I always thought was good, but they didn't really resonate with me, like someone like, I don't know, Elton John. But again, going through listening and looking back as a whole, I was like, his voice is very unique. It could be very moving and powerful when it needs to be. And yeah.
Yeah, his voice is weird.
But-
Weird, but it works.
But when you hear him sing, you could go, oh, I know who it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Bono really likes his voice.
Mhm.
Appeal to authority. So there you go. I figured Andrew would like it. I'm interested on what Sterling felt.
Okay. I thought it was very good, but the second half of the album, I get lost and I zone out, and it all kind of starts sounding the same to me. But there are like some really, really standout tracks, like a lot of songs that I'll definitely revisit on this album, and I like it as a whole a lot because it's very consistent musically.
Yeah.
And I think that may have been part of the problem for me in that, like,
It's too consistent.
I don't know that's a thing, but like,
No, I actually
as it
agree.
went towards the end, I was just like, I started feeling like one long song kind of, and not in the way that it flows or anything like that. Just I was like, it's still going, isn't it? You know
No,
what
I
mean?
get that sometimes with
Still
albums.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Bon Iver. I feel that sometimes.
There's some samey Bon Iver
Yeah.
songs, but I don't think
Yeah.
I've listened to an entire Bon Iver record.
But as a whole, I think going to your maybe being too consistent, like for me, that wasn't as much of a problem. The the backing instrumentals are always excellent. I think they're very intricate and very layered.
Yeah.
And also the strings. There's a lot of strings in this string backing,
I
Yeah.
did not expect that.
They play around with a lot of different arrangements.
which according to what was his name, Cal.
Cal, some 14-year-old reviewer on YouTube
Yeah.
who doesn't like R.E.M.
But he brought to my attention that
He brought to
John Paul
attention
Jones did the string backing.
Led
for this.
Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Of
Thank you,
Led-
Cal.
Yeah. And
Shouts
I think
out to Cal.
You
Yeah.
watch Cal's review in the YouTube playlist as well.
yeah, I love the string backings for all the songs. They're excellent.
That was one of my favorite parts as well.
Yeah.
That really stuck out to me, especially because I went in not knowing much about R.E.M. The only songs I know are "It's the End of the World," as we know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
everyone's called, "Losing My Religion," and I guess "Everybody Hurts," which I didn't know was by R.E.M. And to me, that song is so different from "Losing My Religion" and "It's the End of the World." Like, I assumed R.E.M. was kind of a little more of like, I knew they were kind of a sad boy band, but I thought they were kind of sad and upbeat. I thought they were more of an alternative rock band in terms of like having a little tempo, you know, like "It's the End of the World," as we know it, is a fast song,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I was about to say, like their earlier stuff, a lot of it is faster at least.
Okay,
or
and I
more
have
upbeat.
heard that this is kind of a departure from what they were doing before.
Yeah. Oh,
This is
definitely.
a big change. So I guess I had no way to know what to expect at all. And then Everybody Hurts totally threw me for a loop too, because I thought that was by a not rock band. Do
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, it's such a mainstream song, and like it's in the Jimmy Kimmel, like some Jimmy Kimmel segment. Every time the segment comes up, that song's in the background.
Oh yeah.
And I thought it was like a song from like Titanic or something. Like, I think it's
Could've
a really
been.
awesome song. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I just did not know it was an R.E.M. song.
Speaking of songs, you want to go through track by track?
Sure.
Drive.
Awesome.
Phenomenal
One of my
I
favorites.
love it so
good.
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's haunting. It's
Cal likes
so
it too.
atmospheric.
Cal did like
Cal
it.
likes
Too.
it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cal approval
I
for
pretty
that
much
one.
like Drive and nothing else.
Yeah, there's a great
Yeah.
build up. You know, has that guitar, bass, and then that vocals that has that reverb on it. Again, adding
Yeah.
to the atmosphere. Yeah, and also something that is in this song with Michael Stipe's vocals, which he does a lot. Which I don't know the best way to describe it, but his lyrical delivery is very rhythmic, and it's not sort of like the normal sort of beat, like chorus,
So, like,
and then
percussive.
yeah, I guess. And he always is, and something like "Losing My Religion," I know that in the like verses, he always changes up the vocal delivery a little bit, and that's also something here
Yeah.
in this one as well. But like that, the first line of the song, like it's very unique how he delivered it. Smack, crack, bushwhack, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
I really like. It's an unusual rhythm to start, you know, the vocal part.
Definitely.
Also, just on this album in general, great dynamics between going loud and soft and stuff. And
Yeah.
Yeah, this song starts very sparse and then it builds up.
Yeah.
And then it sort of decompresses at the end and sort of loses instruments and returns to its sort of, you know, quiet beginnings.
pretty cool. Second track is "Try Not to Breathe."
That's another one of my favorites.
It took a while for this one to grow on me, but
Yeah.
I like it
It's good.
quite a bit. But
Yeah, this is probably thinking of consistent. It's a very consistent song overall, the sound wise.
yeah,
Yeah, there's always that acoustic electric guitar dual play and then that bass backing. So it's a very consistent song. Some cool, nice vocal effects, but to me, this wasn't one of the highlights, but it's still good.
Oh, if you read over to the
yeah. No,
right
I was
there.
reading that
Oh.
too.
Whoa. The depressing subject gets even more sad when you realize that Michael Stipe's good friend Kurt Cobain, who shot himself after his drug addictions and agonizing spinal pain became too much, died listening to this album. Is
What?
that true?
I don't know if that's true.
Ooh,
yeah,
yeah.
we need a
Fact check.
One
a source
contributor
on
has
that.
an upvote.
Who is this?
Spirit of the sunlit night.
What is this
Spirit
quote
of
here?
the
Music is
sunlit
what
night.
emotions sound like when they're not coming out of our own mouths with an E.
Yeah,
All
so
right. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if I buy that.
yeah, we're looking at the lyrics
send him
on
an email.
on Genius, and it's based on contributions by the music community. And yeah, this guy apparently claims that Kurt Cobain was listening to this when he died.
Was it you who said last week that Kurt Cobain was planning on doing an album?
Yeah, they plan
similar
on
to
collaborating.
this? Yeah,
Kurt Cobain and Michael Stipe, and then last minute, Kurt pulled out
Yeah.
again. Because, yeah. Anyway, there's that anyway again.
Anyway, on to my least favorite track.
Anyway. Really?
Yeah, this is my
Wow.
least favorite one. Sidewinder Sleeps Tonight.
This
I don't
one
know
has the funny sounding chorus, right?
Yeah, and that's the part I
Wait,
dislike.
how did sing it? How's it go? Like, call me when you try to.
Come here and try to wake up. Come here and try to wake up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't like how it sounds. I do like the part at the beginning though. That mimics Lion Sleeps Tonight.
Oh, yeah. That musical illusion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh.
But get out of here. The vocal performance in here was so good.
Yeah, I like this song.
You know, it might be my second least favorite. There's one coming up that might
and
take
try
the
to
cake for
wake
me.
up.
But I don't know. This was one of the ones when I was listening to it for this podcast that I was kind of like, okay, the armor is starting to crack. You know,
yeah.
on being
Which
my favorite.
I did read a little bit. I think in the liner notes for this song, they mentioned how they felt like it didn't fit thematically with the rest of the album, but they included it anyway.
Really?
Which I could kind of get. It's definitely more upbeat and pop than the rest of the albums.
That's
Or rest of the
something I
songs,
noticed
yeah.
about like the first half of the album, and that's something that makes it stronger to me. Like I think the first 6 tracks or something like that are really poppy and really strong pop songs, and I really really like them because of that. Other than New Orleans Instrumental #1, that's not a strong pop song per se, but I don't know. I think they
Could be
really stand out, and I was not expecting R.E.M. to sound like that at all. So I was
Mhm.
really blown away by the first half of the album.
Yeah. And again, this song has some great uplifting string backing.
Yeah, coming out.
Moving on to their biggest song.
biggest
probably.
song on the
Make sure-
album. Not their biggest song, period. That's
Well, their
Losing-
album.
Probably
Yeah.
losing my religion.
Losing My Religion, and maybe even World,
Losing
whatever.
World,
yeah.
Everybody Hurts.
I always go back and forth on this song. Sometimes I really like it, and sometimes I'm like,
Yes, I'm exactly in the same boat. Yeah.
Sometimes I think Michael Stipe's vocal performance is really well done.
If anything, it saves it because
Yeah.
if you look at the lyrics, like out of context, they're pretty cliche
Kind of lame.
at times.
Oh yeah, the whole song is cliche.
Yeah. And the lyrics are completely,
Yeah.
stylistically, the lyrics are so different than the rest of the album.
Yeah. Take comfort in your friends. Everybody hurts. Don't throw your hand. Oh no, don't throw your hand. If you feel like you're alone, no.
It's
You
a
are
very
not
simple
alone.
song.
Yes.
So yeah, I would agree that Michael Stipe probably saves it
Yeah.
with his voice.
But again, has that sort of starting off sort of, sparse and then builds up. Again, those lush strings, they swell in at the end.
Yeah, I think it's really memorable, especially the intro, like those little
Mhm.
notes up
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the beginning.
It's definitely a film score kind of song.
Yeah, totally.
Michael Stipe has mentioned in interviews that Everybody Hurts was meant to be a genuine message to the band's teenage fans that no matter how bad your life may seem, to please keep hoping for a brighter day.
No
Yeah.
thanks.
No
I'll pass.
thanks. Oh yeah, Andrew is
sad.
a teenager still in the twilight stages of his teenage years.
I guess, technically.
Penultimate.
You have to rub it in.
Track number 5.
Then on to my favorite track.
Look
on
at those
No, I'm
lyrics.
just kidding. It's not my favorite.
Look
Look
at
at
the
all
lyrics.
those
Yeah.
lyrics.
New Orleans Instrumental. It's an instrumental that sounds like Minecraft. So if you like the Minecraft soundtrack, you'll probably like this instrumental. I actually really like it. I think it's just an intro. It's like
Yeah.
2
It's
minutes long.
Yeah. It's like a baby song.
It's like whatever. It's like a baby song. No. I think it has a place.
Yeah.
Uh,
There's a cool stereo effect. They have certain instruments on the left and right channel, which is kind of cool.
and it changes. I mean, baby song is just 40 seconds of a slide whistle. or
Slide
whatever.
whistle nonsense.
Yeah.
That's that Husker Du joke track.
Husker Du.
To all you loyal fans who know already.
Sweetness Follows, which I forgot about, and then I listened to it again, and I was like, oh, I really like this song. This was a gem of mine to find.
I wrote here, meh.
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 Okay, well, Andrew's off the show. So, Sterling,
I
you're
don't
up.
remember what I thought about this one. I wish I wrote notes.
Yeah. It's okay.
I said not dig into instrumental backing. Like there's this constant electronic-y cello sound, and then with the guitar and these like long-held constant keyboard chords. I don't know.
I dig it.
It felt like a little droning to me over time.
I like droning things.
Oh, well.
That song I mentioned earlier, Washer by Slint, total
Drone.
drony song, yeah.
Ooh, what about that
great.
Kraftwerk song?
Kraftwerk. I don't even know if it's. I don't even know if I'd call that droning as much as it just is monotonous. But anyway, let's just.
Monty got a raw
Monty
deal.
got a raw deal.
It's got a star for me.
Really?
It's got a star for you.
I really like this song.
Yeah, this was one that I think. Not that I didn't like it before, but it just took me a long time to like finally remember. It's kind of a forgettable,
silly song. I don't know.
forgettable track.
Maybe it's just the name Monty.
Silly. Yeah. Why? Why do you think it's silly?
I don't know. I understand that it's supposed to be serious, like most of them, but I don't know.
Yeah, here, this little thing on the side from Genius Lyrics. Monty is a somber, mostly acoustic
There you
meditation about navigating the future when the past is
That
haunting
sounds
you.
dark as hell.
Sounds
too.
like a jokey
It's not
kind
the
of
message
song.
I got.
But yeah, I think the song, like a lot of others, has a killer build-up, and its use of pauses. Like that one, like has that acoustic guitar part, and then it goes pause, and then that drum hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That rocks.
Yeah.
Guess you guys aren't a fan.
No, I like it. I said
Okay.
I like it.
And that's some of that dynamic stuff that I think is really cool about the first half of the album, like 1 through I guess 7.
7,
Yeah.
almost half. Or more than half rather.
And I like the next track.
Yeah,
Ignore Land.
This is another one of my favorite.
I
ones.
love
Yeah.
Ignore Land.
Cal doesn't like it, right?
Oh, he doesn't? I don't know. We didn't watch
Oh.
the whole thing.
Yeah,
Cal
we only
does not
heard
like
that he
this.
didn't like track 2 and 3.
Cal
and
didn't
most
like
of the
Ignore.
album.
What does Cal like? Ignore Land was the first R.E.M. song that I ever.
Cal
Well,
likes
second R.E.M.
Drive.
song that I ever liked.
Yeah, tons of energy. This song.
It's a political song,
It's
right?
the most. Yeah, definitely. It is the most rockin'
Super US
of
yeah.
songs on the album, I'd say.
Yeah.
When they went in to record this album, they originally meant to record a rocking album, so to speak. So I don't know how the hell they ended up with this, but
But yeah,
worked
again,
for 'em.
some of the lyrics are the lyrical delivery very rhythmic,
Oh yeah,
which I like a lot. Yeah, undermining social democratic. I love that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
yeah, I concur.
One thing I don't like about this song, not feeling those yes.
Oh, why not? I like it.
I really
know-
like Ignore Land.
You know, the song that I love is the part of the song I love is the that's there every once in a while.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the karate. Hiya, hiya,
What's the song called?
karate.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
You don't remember that
Paisley
classic?
classic.
I've
Yeah.
already pushed it out of my mind. But yeah, I love that delivery of Ignore Land, but not those yes.
Yeah. Why? I don't. What?
Sounds so silly.
That probably happens in like a billion songs that you already. I'm sure Elton John probably says yeah a bunch.
It's
of
not the
times.
actual it's just how it's done.
how
just
it's
like-
done, how he delivers it.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just like imagine
Yeah.
like a whole bunch of fans on the stage like behind him like yeah. Like
Oh, I can do. Yeah,
oh, you'd be there.
I'd be there.
Okay, I get that, but not for me.
Stormy Kitten.
I'd say this is probably the most forgettable track on the whole album.
Yeah,
Because I always forget about it. When I return to it, I like it. It just doesn't stick with me that well.
it's also kind of journey. It's like a little dreamlike too because it has a lot of long held chords.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see that.
My only other note: nice snaps.
Nice
There's
snaps.
some snaps in there I like. Yeah, more songs need snaps. I'm saying that right now.
Apparently, the chorus is "fuck me, kitten," but since R.E.M. didn't
Yeah, I
want
was
to use
just
"fuck" in
reading
the
that.
track name, they replaced it with "star."
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's funny.
I guess that makes sense. Like asterisks.
Okay, this is the one I was like, this might be my least favorite track on the album.
Mott the
What?
Hoople in the Game of Life.
I don't like this song that
No.
much.
There's some more yes on this one, Andrew.
There is a bunch of yes.
I like the yes
Andy
here.
Kaufman in a wrestling match.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about this song. I know it's one of the more popular ones on the album and everything, but I just think it's kind of meh. I think
think
it's
they-
kind of blow off. Yeah.
What about the chorus? You think it's like too poppy? Because I love
I
that.
don't think it's too poppy. I just think it's kind of boring, the whole song.
Nah.
And I don't like the lyrics that much. I don't know much about Andy Kaufman,
I know a little.
so
He's a
maybe if I
crazy
was
dude.
like an Andy Kaufman fan, this song would be great. I mean, this song was featured in the soundtrack for the movie Man on the Moon with Jim Carrey.
I really want to see that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. Is it supposed to be good?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
Yeah, Andy Kaufman's a real cool dude, and there's
Andy
conspiracy
Kaufman is
theory.
alive.
He's alive.
Okay, he's
He
not
faked his
dead.
death. Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad we got that fact out of the way.
I don't remember anything about this song.
What? You
Sorry.
guys are
Yeah, I wish
crazy.
I had notes. I feel bad.
Another man on the moon. Man on the moon. You don't remember anything?
I literally
Oh
don't.
man, I think that pre-chorus is awesome. How it builds up the chorus. That Elvis line.
The
Are you
Elvis part is my
goofing
least favorite song. My least favorite part of the song, when he's like, "Oh baby,"
He does that Elvis impression.
Hey, baby. Yeah, I can't stand the Elvis impression.
Do you like the yas on here? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like the yas.
Sure. I'm
Whatever.
very impartial to the yas on this
Whatever.
song.
Let's play Twister. Let's play Risk.
Yeah, I
Didn't
don't
notice that,
like
man.
And now my favorite song.
Really?
I love Night Swimming. Yeah, very calming, very melodic. It's just
beautiful.
really nice.
It's just straight up beautiful. I said, for me, I wrote this is the best opening for any other songs. I really
What,
like
just
how
when
it
it says
starts.
Like
Night
the
Swimming?
intro?
Oh, yeah, the intro, yeah.
Or the little piano.
Yeah, piano.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it's a very beautiful. Has the piano stay there, the strings come in, and also like a clarinet towards the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I don't really care for the lyrics too much. Because I don't know. It's whatever. It's about night swimming.
Sounds like
as
Neil
you can-
Diamond.
Sounds like Neil Diamond.
No,
But like instrumentally speaking, and Michael Stipe's voice,
Yeah.
all great.
Yeah.
And interesting form, too. There's no like formal verse chorus. It's just like, it just goes.
True. Yeah, I didn't
it's like
notice
a
that.
poem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh.
the ambience on the album, super strong, like super strong reverb effects and super strong
Mhm.
like with the strings and everything. It makes it sound way bigger and way moodier and everything musically. So probably this is,
It's a very interesting tone that
Yeah,
album
yeah.
has.
and also the album art too is
Oh,
really
yeah.
gray and kind of upsetting. Like
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
industrial maybe. You know what I mean? Oh, to me it looks like a mine, but
It does look like a mine. Or I was thinking maybe
like
like
a hammer.
It looks
with
like
spikes
something
on
that's
it.
like on top of a building, though.
Every time I've looked at it,
Um,
I've always thought it was a jack.
Oh, like
Oh, yeah,
when you
yeah.
play jacks.
I was thinking that earlier, but I would say like a land mine or a sea mine. I mean, you know, those ones that float in the water, even though it's not, you know,
Mhm.
Or a
ball one.
morning star. Maybe that's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
What is that?
That's a weapon.
Yeah.
Oh, like the hammer with the spikes on it?
Yeah,
That's what I was just
basically.
saying, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe it's a chair.
it could.
Medieval
Not
chair.
sit on that.
There's a
Very
prototype.
uncomfortable chair. Okay, and then the final track, which I think is a underrated song,
Find the
"Find the River."
Yeah. I have a star next to it.
It's like nearly every song, save for "Ignore Land." Slow, moody, but I just think it's more effective than say "Star Me Kitten" or "Monty Got a Raw Deal,"
Mhm.
even though I like "Monty Got a Raw Deal." I don't know. I like that. Just be that simple beginning, the individual notes, and then the full chord
Mhm.
that they play. I like that a lot.
Yeah. I said the song's very poignant and moving in both its lyrics and instrumental content. It has some great backing vocals, and I wrote accordion question mark.
Accordion. I'm not sure if it's accordion.
There's like a
I feel
weird
bad
instrument.
that
in
you
there.
guys really like it because I don't remember this one either at all. And maybe it's
Get
because
out
it's
of
the
here.
last track, and I just every time I listen to it, maybe I got to the point where I zoned out.
I actually don't know how to feel about it being the closer, though.
Really,
I feel like there could have been a better closer.
like night
Mm.
swimming.
Or New Orleans #1.
Off the tracks available, then maybe it is. Now that I'm looking at it,
I think night swimming would be a cool last track.
I agree.
It's a cool like
yeah, I could see it.
theme, you know, a very theme centric track, I would say. And it's really good at capturing the mood of the album, which again is super consistent, except in the silliness, I guess. And what
Man on the Moon.
I perceive as silliness in Monty and Man on the Moon, yeah.
They probably just could have done Drive just again as the opener and the closer. Just throw it in.
Or play it in a reverse.
Or play it in
Yeah.
reverse, yeah.
And call it reverse, like the
Going in
shift
reverse?
thing on in the
shit.
car,
Yeah.
like the gear shift.
Yeah, why didn't they think of that?
Why didn't they think of that? So yeah, that was Automatic for the People.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
Pretty solid.
I like it a lot.
Really solid.
I'll revisit it definitely.
Someday.
One thing I can definitely say is that I want to listen to other R.E.M. albums, especially Green, because I've heard like super good things about Green.
Sick. Green was Kurt's
Yep.
Kurt's favorite.
Kurt.
Green's great.
Oh
But
yeah,
pretty much any of their 80s stuff is really great. I love their 80s stuff.
Sweet.
You said you're not a big fan of Losing My Religion.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's okay.
I love that song.
You love it?
Yeah, I love it.
That's like saying you like love Enter Sandman or you love Smells Like Teen Spirit.
I love both of those songs.
Like they're good, but
They're just like too.
they're so like played out.
Contrived.
How are you not tired of them?
I mean, I wasn't inundated with it like on the radio or anything. So I don't know. When I first listened to it,
Don't say a word.
when I first listened to it, I'm like, this song's awesome, and I never got bored of it. So sorry.
You just wait. You'll get bored of it. No. It's. I mean, it's. I like the mandolin and everything like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
All right.
It's good. I'm
All right.
glad they had a top 10
Losing
hit.
My Religion reminds me of The Cure, like a lot. That song always makes me think
Really?
of The Cure. Yeah, especially
Huh.
because of the mandolin part, and then also like if just imagine if it was sung by Robert Smith, like
I'm trying to.
you know, they're great.
All right. Let us move on to our second review for this
12
evening.
stars out of 12.
What? Oh. Seconds, a graphic novel by.
Our second review.
Oh my goodness! It's like I planned this on purpose. Brian Lee O'Malley, who wrote the Scott Pilgrim series, which will later turn into a movie. Sterling recommended this because he
I
likes.
did.
You've read Scott Pilgrim too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a big Scott Pilgrim fan.
Scotty
boy.
P fan.
Scotty P's. Oh, have you eaten there?
No,
Scotty P's
that's
is great.
nice. Oh,
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
And Gus hasn't read any Brian Lee O'Malley stuff.
No, that's not technically true. Sterling tried to get me to read Scott Pilgrim,
Yeah.
and so I read the first like 10
Oh, yeah.
pages.
Oh yeah.
And it's not because I didn't it's not because I disliked it or anything. It's just when it's not for a podcast, I like don't feel compelled to sit down with it.
I see.
But he made me watch the movie, and I thought the movie was cool.
Yeah. Saw that in the theater.
Yeah, me too. I love that movie. Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
Directed right there.
So, Seconds, we read it. Gus, what did you think about this? Having read only 10 pages of Scott Pilgrim.
I think that we should stop doing graphic novels because I want more time to like
Whoa.
to
Digest.
it and take my time with it, because today I was just rushing through it as fast as I possibly could. I was in class with Sterling,
Yeah, I was there.
reading it. I mean, I understood what happened and everything, but I would like to have had more time with it. But with that being said, I like this one a lot.
A
It was
lot.
really awesome. I really like the art style. It's funny. I like the main character. What's her name?
Katie.
Yeah, there we go. Katie. Yeah, I know. I forgot, but whatever. I was just trying to think. No, it was really good. Andrew, don't cry.
Okay.
Okay.
I do that a lot.
I know he does, and he gets scared easily, so don't get scared.
Yeah,
either.
he's probably scared of all the ghosty stuff
Yeah.
going on, the spirits.
Oh, yeah. The
I
house
think-
spirits.
I think. I don't even remember the name. Oh, Gone Home. Oh no, not Gone Home. Fun
Device
Home.
6. Fun Home.
Device.
Device 6. Yeah. No, Fun Home has been usurped
Whoa.
by
What?
Seconds as
I
my
did not expect
favorite
that.
graphic
Holy
novel of 2.
2 out of 2.
2 out of 2.
Wow.
And it's not that
That's crazy.
it's not that fun. I didn't like Fun Home. Fun Home was awesome,
Yeah.
but and
Dude,
obviously
I recommended
like
Seconds, and I like Fun Home better.
and obviously it's more like intellectual and whatnot. But I just think I like this. It's more colorful. I like the art better. I mean, not that the art in Fun Home is bad, but I really like his style. Or does he draw them too?
Yeah.
Is he the illustrator?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like his art style.
Yeah.
So based on that alone, I like it more. I mean, I guess like content-wise, no. You know what? No, fuck it. I like Seconds more than Fun Home.
Whoa.
Sorry,
Alison Bechtel.
Alison Bechtel. Mr. O'Malley failed your Bechtel test.
Oh my God, he did.
On Scott Pilgrim. I'm sorry, but yeah.
Well, I have to say, I completely agree with you on the visuals. Yes, the art style is great. Great use of color. I mean, there's two primary color schemes I noticed. Like, they're sort of like blue and red. Red is more like normal day, and then blue is like more the dream sequences and more like the stuff at night. Great character designs. Very expressive facial features, which lend themselves to a lot of the humor.
Yeah, definitely.
And Bryan Lee O'Malley's got his humor down to a science, because stylistically it's very similar to Scott Pilgrim.
It's iconic as well as the art too.
Mm-hmm.
You could pick it out of a lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not obnoxious either, like the humor. Like, I feel like sometimes this kind of introspective type humor, you know how, so basically...
Like attempted meta, like, comedy.
Yeah, like it'll say something and then in the next panel she'll be like, hey, don't say that, or what, you know what I mean, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And that could be like, so, I don't know,
Silly.
Annoying or silly, but
Contrived.
he does it really well.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I agree.
And a lot of cool other stylistic stuff as far as humor goes. It's just like using like typography, like certain words thrown in, like when someone, like a huge like stare, when someone's staring, like it says stare like over what they're looking at. Another joke I remember is like, first off, let me just say, spoilers for the whole story. We're talking about everything. Sorry. But so the character Katie eats these mushrooms to go back and fix some of the mistakes she made earlier that day. And like one moment, like in real life, the first time she does it, she has like this awkward fist bump, and it says like awkward there. And then she goes back and fixes it, and that when that plays back again, it says confident. Yeah,
I love
really
that.
funny jokes like that.
Yeah.
Great.
There's a lot of, with this sort of motif of, going back and fixing mistakes, there's a lot of before and after contrast, which reminded me of something like 500 Days of Summer that does a lot of cool, stylistic stuff like that. Also with visuals, it's very varied how it's presented. Like the paneling isn't just like rectangle, 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 rectangle. There's a lot of variation. There's some like really, there's a couple like full page panels. They're not always like perpendicular either. There's like some angled panels as well. And how, like, thinking of as like a film perspective, like everything's sort of like shot in a different way.
Yeah.
It's never boring to look at because it's always presenting stuff in new ways, in like wide angles, close-ups, so visually it never got boring following what was happening. Unique panel design always keeps you entertained. Stuff I did not like.
Let's hear it. I was waiting. Yeah.
My biggest problem with Seconds is the third act. I think it really fumbled the final part
The
of the
ending.
story. Yeah.
I have something to say about that too. Yeah.
I can see where you're coming from. I didn't hear a word you said because I was reflecting on my previous
Your life?
statement.
Oh,
saying
okay.
I like
You're
fun,
like,
I like
oh,
this
no.
more than Fun Home, and I think I still do. But I think Fun Home was a more complete package in terms of
I
it
agree.
didn't like leave you asking too. I mean, you could ask, what about her mom? And she made a book about her mom. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
but
She heard you.
I feel like she went in depth on everything that she brought up. But in this book, I feel like they could have like explored some things some more. And also, the third act, it just kind of, I don't know, it kind of like happened and then it got resolved rather quickly.
Yeah.
So
It's a
yeah,
little
so
disappointing.
when I was feeling like that, sort of the bad feelings coming on, because usually, again, I take notes while I read,
Mhm.
and usually I take the most notes at the beginning because it's all fresh, so I want to get it down.
Yeah.
But like maybe 50 so pages in, I stopped taking notes, which for me is a good sign that I just want to.
Yeah.
I'm so in that world, I just want to focus on that I don't take notes anymore. But when they really got deep into that sort of witch and house spirit mythology, I was not a fan of that.
At which point exactly?
Like the whole, like that sort of.
When Hazel brings it up,
No,
or just
no,
like
that
the
was
whole
fine.
thing?
That was fine
Oh.
when she brings it up, and sort of her Katie interacting with the house spirit list. I thought that was fine.
Yeah.
It's that when that like the black sort of creature starts building in the mushroom place,
Yeah. The
and then
witch.
she confronts it. Like that whole sequence, I'm like, this is just way too much for me. Katie says a line like, "You're not a monster, you're a mirror." I was just like, "Oh, get out of here!" Like it's so scripted, you know.
Deep. That's what it is.
Oh, I'm sorry, but what I think Brian Lee O'Malley is really playing on is quantum physics. First image of Seconds. Do you remember what it is?
No.
It
The first thing you see when you start.
it's just her and Liz. I thought,
she's in her
right?
bed and there's a glowing.
Nope.
It says like she woke.
Nope.
And she saw a glow.
That's something right before it.
Oh.
It's that heart tree thing. It's like that tree, that red tree.
Yeah.
That's
that
the first thing you see.
That's the first image, and I made a note of that because I'm like, this is important. It'll come back.
Yeah.
And it does. So the whole idea is that, you know, when she eats this mushroom, sort of her day is revised, and the life she now lives is what happened if that mistake didn't occur.
Yeah.
But it's sort of revealed that that's not really what happens. It's just sort of she's taken to these separate, branching parallel universes.
Yeah.
Which again plays on whole quantum mechanic things, and I'm all for that. I really like that stuff. But the sort of theme that they play on it in the end, I thought was very cliche. It was sort of like you make mistakes, you learn, but you learn to move on from them.
And she says that word for word.
Yeah, pretty much. So again, great ideas there, but in the actual execution with the sort of immediate plot and how it's resolved, I thought it sort of fumbled that at the end.
That's one of my few complaints about it too, is the ending. Especially, I can't Max the character.
Oh,
so
that's actually
mad
a big complaint of mine.
What? Everyone else who's read it too at the end is like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, he seems like such a douche.
Seems
and
like
it's
such
like,
a
oh,
douche.
come on, Katie, you got to learn.
Yeah, and
she's like a helpless like slave to him throughout like the entire thing.
I got so tired of that. Oh, I love Max so much. I'm fixing all my mistakes just to get with Max. I got so tired of that.
I was expecting her to learn from that,
Yeah.
or like develop in some
Yeah.
other way, but in
I
fact
thought,
she ends up like go ahead.
Go ahead. Go.
She ends up just ending up with Max, basically.
Yeah.
We're about to talk about Andrew.
I was about to talk about Andrew,
Yeah.
the character in the book, and how they hook up like once or twice, or once, and then
In
it
another
just disappears,
universe.
but then it comes back or something like that.
Yeah.
And I figured like, oh, this'll, in the end, she'll end up with Andrew.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, that's what I
and douchebag Max will go away. But no, I couldn't believe that. I was like, what?
Yeah.
How do you end up with Max? And then Andrew gets to go to a different city.
Yeah.
And
She writes his letter of recommendation.
she writes his letter of recommendation. Everyone else has like a kind of like a satisfying conclusion. Like Hazel and Patrick get together.
Yeah.
And I guess Max and Katie get
Yeah.
together and have their restaurant and shit. But Andrew just kind of gets fucked over.
Yeah.
I feel like.
No, I agree.
Yeah. Agreed.
You know what? Fuck Seconds. I'm
I changed my mind.
back to
again.
Fun Home. Yeah. No, not really.
But for me, the how it ends at the very end, I felt it like it was getting to that point, and the only thing that was going on in my mind was, do not pull a Groundhog's Day.
Oh.
Groundhog Day. You know that movie Groundhog
Yeah,
Day
Bill Murray.
with Bill Murray?
Yeah.
I have a philosophical issue with that film and how it ends.
Why?
Is that by some completely random force, Bill Murray is put in a situation where he could better himself and by the end get what he wants by sort of just being randomly put in the situation where he can repeat it.
Yeah,
Where
I see what you're saying.
there's a lot of other characters that he interacts with just have problems too, but just by chance he's the one who gets to fix them all and get what he wants at the end, you know? And sort of the ending of
How would you fix that? You
That's the
go
problem.
in depth
Is you can't. That's what's
on
problematic
every
about it is that you
fucking
can't.
character. Andrew's wrong.
I see what
Groundhog
you're
Day.
saying.
but it's
Great film.
so one-sided that it is sort of like happy ending, bow on top, like everything works out for Katie, she gets with Max, gets what she wants, you know?
Yeah.
Where I really, again, sort of that theme of learn from your mistakes, move on. You could do that in a way that's sort of more original, and how Seconds is set up, it could definitely go that way.
That's what's so great
But
about it, is it is original at the beginning.
But that immediate plot at how it's resolved at the end is just so cliche for me.
What would you have rather have been?
That she doesn't get what she wants. She learns that, yeah, you make mistakes, you can't change it, you move on with it.
Do you
But maybe
think-
she doesn't get the restaurant, she doesn't end up with anybody,
Yeah,
like stuff like
the
that.
romance thing did not have to happen.
Yeah.
I could totally agree with
Do
that.
you think that she should have just stayed in limbo world with the witch forever, for all eternity?
No.
That would have sucked.
Oh, that would have been my alternative ending.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it follows like the classic hero's journey. Starts someplace, goes through all this wacky, hijinks, and then comes back home, but is a changed person. And yes, Katie is a changed person, and I'm all for that. It's just that everything else around her fits in with her life perfectly.
Yeah.
Is she a changed person?
Yeah, she straight up says like, I'm not going to try and worry about mistakes.
Well,
and
The book straight up says, same old Katie. And then she's like, hey, I'm young.
not old. Yeah, you're right. Katie throughout, honestly, like, okay, so I don't know if that's supposed to be, the narration's supposed to be her
I think it
thinking
is.
or whatever. But anyways, I'll just call it like the narrator.
Yeah.
She's always like communicating back and forth with the narrator, right? And no matter what the narrator says, she kind of argues with it.
Mhm.
And that still kind of happens at the end. And I feel like it seems like she's still kind of in denial. I don't know if that was intended. But to me, it's not a really satisfying ending for the reader in any way, which is kind of frustrating because it's probably like 4 or 5 pages that wrap everything up, and it's super upsetting.
Yeah.
But I love everything else so much that
I just keep dwelling on the fact that she ends up with Max. If she didn't end up with Max, if she realized, oh, I don't need Max to be happy or whatever, or
which is where I thought it was going.
I know, yeah, I thought so too. But she does all these things, basically, nearly all of them, just to get with Max or keep
the restaurant,
keep Max
Yeah.
happy,
Or the second
or
restaurant,
keep her.
And the second restaurant.
Yeah. And so that's like the crux of how she got into the horrible situation with the witch or whatever, which was herself, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Kind of. And then in the end, she just that's what she gets anyway. So yeah, in that sense, there's almost like there was no consequence.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And like I said earlier, like the resolution from the problem of, oh shit, the world's basically gone and all the other worlds and everything like that, it gets resolved really fast. It's just like, we can try, can't we? And then it's like, oh yeah,
Okay.
we can.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about like the house spirit plot and all the kind of the supernatural elements?
That's fine.
To it?
No, that's cool. It felt right for the world, and
I think so too.
yeah, it didn't need to. I like that it doesn't need to explain itself completely. It's just like, this is the world. This sort of supernatural stuff goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, my house has got a house spirit, so
Oh,
I can relate.
you leave clothes out for it and all that, and bread.
His name's Obadiah.
Cool.
Sweet.
We should get together and have our house spirits interact.
Ooh, house spirit party.
House spirit party. But yeah, seconds to me, it's bizarrely contradictory at times. Original style. Love the characters. Dialogue, the writing's all good, but
Yeah.
sort of, at the end kind of slips up in its plot. So I still like it overall.
Same.
Andrew's a hater. This
Man.
book is good.
Fun Home sucks.
Fun Home
No,
sucks.
Second's good. Fun Home, fantastic.
I agree.
Captain
Captain
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Okay. Good.
What I like about
Even.
Seconds, I think it's a really fun read.
It
And
is.
I think I'm not really a fast reader,
Nor am I.
but I read this in like 2 hours, and I got a good look at everything, and I think that was enough time. I thought it was fine, and I got through everything, and it was really refreshing too, because I don't think I've read it for like at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And it was like totally new to me too.
I mean,
which
it's
is
not
great.
even 2 years old.
Okay, so then a year and a half.
Yeah.
Next thing.
Moving on
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
I guess we're done with that.
to our final review. My pick, American Splendor, film that came out in 2003.
this is the one with Christian Bale, right?
Oh yeah, and Harvey, what's his name?
Dent.
No, this guy. Harvey Cavill. Henry Cavill?
Harvey Keitel?
No, Cavill.
I have no idea who that is.
Anyway,
Superman.
American Splendor,
Okay.
Paul Giamatti.
Directed by a married couple who you've never heard before. And
I didn't know that.
Berman
I
and
didn't know they were a married
Pulcini.
couple.
Yeah. And
That's weird.
I love this movie. I'm a huge fan of Harvey Picar's work, so I recommended it. And these guys not familiar with Harvey Picar's work, what did you think?
Did you know about Harvey Picar before watching the movie?
Yes.
I may have asked you that already.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I didn't. And I loved this movie. And I thought Harvey Picar seemed like an all right guy and a very interesting guy.
Yeah.
Funny dude.
Yeah, he has a very like realist, I guess, sense of looking at life, and that kind of dark comedy comes out in his comic books, and that also came out in the movie. So I understand that he didn't take part in writing the movie. He didn't.
He may have consulted, but yeah.
Okay, because he was in the film.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I understood that they interviewed him for parts of the film, they shot Paul Giamatti, who played him as well, and then also. No, wait, that's it.
There's a lot to this. So like they at one point, or maybe multiple points, they incorporate like he was on what was it, David Letterman?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like the actual Harvey Picard was
Yeah,
on
that was
David
pretty
Letterman
cool. Like
back
Paul,
way back when.
like, leaves the room,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
the real guy like comes up on the tape from the show. But then I wonder, that the last taping of Letterman that they talk about on this one, they don't show the actual footage. So did
On
that get
on
pulled?
strike against NBC.
Yeah,
That one. Yeah.
Did that really happen, or did it get pulled?
Oh, that happened. That definitely happened.
Yeah, you
But
just
they
can't
probably
watch it.
didn't. They were like, you can have the rights to this, but this one, we don't want you guys to show this publicly.
Interesting.
It's on YouTube though. It's actually on the pre-show playlist. But yeah,
we should watch that.
that
actually.
happens. It's really awkward. It's really uncomfortable.
I
Let's
love that
please
kind of
watch
stuff.
that. After.
Okay.
I love that kind
I
of
was
stuff.
like, when it got to that point, I was like, no, I want to see the real one.
Yeah.
Like I was very upset about that.
But again, spoilers. That's rewatching it the second time. I'm like, yeah, how I felt about the opening, I felt the same way. I thought this movie begins horribly. I thought that how this movie started was awful. Gus, you're like, you don't remember?
Yeah, I'm trying
Explain
to.
the beginning
What was so
again.
bad about
Yeah.
it?
It was the kids at Halloween and little Harvey Picar's there with
Oh,
his
yeah.
kid buddies.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like
Who are you
sitcom-y.
supposed to be?
I'm Harvey Picar.
What do you mean, lady?
I'm just a kid from the neighborhood. And he like kicks this trash can down the street. And
I
all
thought
sad.
you were talking about when his voice is gone and he's
No.
like his wife is leaving him.
I love that
part's
part.
hilarious.
Yeah. No, the very opening with Josh Hutcherson as Robin.
Is that what?
As Robin.
I
That's
didn't
funny.
know that.
Yeah.
Oh, you said
Yeah,
that last.
his first feature film, which you can't even tell. But yeah, I didn't. Yeah, it reiterated. Yeah, that opening is not good.
Kind of pointless.
But then it goes into this credit sequence at the beginning where it
With
has
the
all the
jazz.
cool jazz and comic panel stuff. Really cool.
Very cool.
And then it starts with Paul Giamatti, who I think delivered a wonderful performance here.
Yeah, this is the best movie I've seen him act in. Best performance I've
Yeah.
seen him give. In a
He has
movie.
such an expressive face, particularly his eyebrows. They're so great.
And his eyes, they're huge.
Yeah.
And you see like scenes of like the actual Harvey Picar, and they like Paul like definitely nails like all the mannerisms and the gait.
All the people that they cast look and sound identical to the actual people that they're portraying.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Hope Davis as Harvey's wife, Joyce.
Joyce.
Awesome.
Joyce, I can't even believe she's a real human being.
I know.
She's almost like a cartoon character.
Her
herself.
and the self-proclaimed nerd, whatever his name was,
Oh, yeah.
Toby.
Toby, yeah.
Toby.
He was really like that.
Again, that's what I loved about it. You see all these characters like it's straight out of a comic, which kind of it is.
Uh-huh.
But then you see like the real people. I was like, no, these are how they actually are, which is
It's pretty awesome.
yeah. So some parts are like that didn't really happen, like with the jelly beans and stuff like that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
my that might be one of my favorite scenes, where Paul Giamatti and the actor playing Toby, they're like bonding over jelly beans, I guess.
Yeah.
And then someone yells cut, and it cuts to this like set, and they're like all going back to their chairs. But then they cross paths with the actual Harvey and the actual Toby eating jelly beans. And you see in the background Paul Giamatti sitting in a chair watching them interact and
yeah.
just like cracking up.
That's
Love
pretty
that scene.
crazy.
But yeah, a lot of fourth wall breaking, a lot of meta stuff.
Yeah. And then also, this is what I was trying to think of earlier when we're talking about the layers. The comics that that Picard writes are biographical or autobiographical.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he gets cancer or is diagnosed with cancer, and he and his wife
Mm-hmm.
co-write Our Cancer Year
Mhm.
together, right?
Which I've read.
Okay. And that's the last body of work? That's the last piece of work he did?
No, he's done like a lot of other graphic novels that
Mm-hmm.
again sort of blend biography with some more journalistic things. Like I know he wrote one on Israel. He wrote one on the Beat Generation.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so he does a lot of different stuff too, not strictly just when you think about the autobiographical stuff. That's mainly American Splendor, that series.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of American Splendor, it's again the big thing about that series, why it was so revolutionary at the time, because it was so just grounded and realistic, and this film kind of captures that as well. Where at times it's like just kind of gross and dirty, like a lot of people just coughing, like just acting just like normal people. Like there's this really small shot of Harvey walking down the hallway at a hotel, and there's a lady going the other way, and they're like don't know like which way to move, and they're going back and forth, like little touches like that. There are some scenes with Paul Giamatti scratching his balls shirtless. Again, very unglamorous, but it definitely plays with the whole theme.
Yeah.
Gus, any more thoughts on American Splendor?
Yeah, this movie's I guess.
Oh yeah, you were just sitting there listening to us just love over it.
You pretty much touched on everything that I like, but the editing's great. It's really cool. Like it's very unique in how it goes in and out of Paul Giamatti to the actual Harvey Pekar. And those segments are just kind of him talking, just kind of sitting there talking. But I don't know, they're interesting still. It's interesting to just hear him ramble on and whatnot.
Anything you didn't like?
The intro.
Maybe the intro.
Horrible opening.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know if you guys felt this way, but I felt like the ending was like almost abrupt. Like I felt like it just ended.
Yeah.
It's like
Watching the second time, I
soon.
felt that too. Yeah.
I was not expecting it to end when it did. I thought it was gonna keep going. So that was kind of a bummer. Actually.
Well, I guess that's a good thing too, that you felt like you could sit for a little bit longer and watch more.
In terms of that, yeah. No, I really like the movie.
Yeah. So he's
a
dead
good-
now, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Paul
good.
Giamatti, yes,
2010.
rest in peace.
Paul Giamatti.
Oh yeah. R.I.P. Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
Harvey's actually dead.
Yeah.
2010, I
Fuck.
think he died.
Oh dang, that sucks.
Yeah.
Go back and read his stuff. It's real good.
Someone get me a mushroom right now. I gotta go back and change something. Yeah.
I could give you a certain kind of mushroom, but yeah, for me,
Whatever helps me cope. So just give it to me.
What are those honey tab things called? Honey slides.
Honey slides. Yeah.
Swedish Fish.
Swedish fish.
But I mentioned watching it the first time, the ending brought a tear to my eye. Did it move you anyway? Because watching it again, I was still kind of moved, knowing he's dead. Sort of, the last scene is him retiring, and all his coworkers, throwing him a little party. So knowing he's dead, knowing like his battle with cancer, and there's one scene where he mentions like, am I a real person or just like a character in a comic? And if I die, like, will I live on? Stuff like that. So all those themes together just made it, very, very resonant to me.
It's kind of like the end of Hamilton,
No.
So Gus, what'd you think?
Of Hamilton.
Oh no.
I never heard of this movie before,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm really glad that you pitched it because it's
thank
really
you.
awesome.
Yeah. So,
Those are my final thoughts.
Sterling, final words.
Yeah. I was definitely moved at the end. I was not moved to tears.
Yeah,
But it was
no way.
heavy. It was very heavy at the end. And I didn't know he was dead in real life. But right after it ended, I looked up on Wikipedia and I was like, turned to Helen and I was like, well, he's dead also. So the movie ended.
Did
and so
Helen
his
cry?
life. No, she didn't.
Okay.
I think she was half watching it, but she liked it a lot too. But yeah, this is a movie I would definitely. I know a lot of people who would really like this.
Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
Yes.
Really, really.
I think just if film people in general would like.
Yeah,
this,
because
even
it
if
does
they
a
don't
lot
like
of
it.
stuff without being like too flashy.
Yeah,
and
Oh,
it doesn't.
This is super unique, like stylistic choices
Yeah,
in this movie.
and it feels like you watching it like I could kind of do that. Like there's no like crazy special effects, no like elaborate sets. It's all very again going with the theme of it being grounded and realistic. Yeah, Harvey Pekar, real cool dude.
I love Mr. Boats too.
Mr.
Yeah.
Boats.
Mr. Boats is hilarious. Anyway.
Am I gonna be in your next comic, Andrew?
Oh yeah.
And-
Well, I want to say that a little bit later, but
Oh, you're actually gonna bring that up?
a little bit later,
Well, anyways.
as in not this time.
Harvey.
Okay.
That no one knows what we're
I'm
talking
just gonna
about.
hint at something.
Okay.
Harvey Pekar has been reincarnated into a 19-year-old Asian boy named Andrew O.
Wow, left really nothing up to imagination.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are our reviews for this evening. Now we are moving on to our recommendations, which I mentioned earlier, a little different. We're having some guests on who recommended 3 things. If they choose, well, one of them can't. If they choose, they will be here next week to review alongside us. So yeah, we could get started right away with the first one, which is actually by this guy named Cameron Gavinski.
That's my little brother.
He recommended this little piece of cinema called Food Fight. It came out in 2012. Woo! Animated film, and apparently it's awful. And we'll find out ourselves. But what we will do is I've actually recorded his pitch, because usually at this time we would give a little 5-minute explanation of our recommendation. So I did this with all the guests already, and I'm going to play the first one right now with Cameron. Hopefully this works. My name is Andrew O, one of your hosts of the Wheelhouse. I'm here with Cameron Gavinski.
Hello.
Who his last name might sound familiar because he's actually the brother of one Sterling Gavinski.
Yeah, little known fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually brothers.
And we are actually in the Dining Hall at SMU. You are our first guest recommendation on the Wheelhouse. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to.
So,
long-time listener, first-time caller.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Long-time, first-time.
When I contacted you for some suggestions, you responded with a list of 12 different things from TV shows, albums, movies.
I did. That's correct.
And we were all deliberating which one to pick, which one we should do. And all of a sudden, you texted me, all caps, Food Fight. You were so enthusiastic. What is so great about Food Fight that made you sweep away all those other 12?
Oh, I don't know if I can just name one. I don't know how much I want to give away.
Yeah, that's another thing. You're very enigmatic. I know Gus was not giving too much about Frankie Teardrop. I'm like, what, is there any spoilers or anything? Is this a movie that can be spoiled?
Food Fight is not a movie that can be spoiled.
Oh, okay.
It is an experience. You gotta.
But the food can be spoiled.
The food cannot. Okay, I'll give you a little background on this movie.
Okay, go ahead.
Its budget was $45 million, and it made $70,000.
Not a good investment.
Not a good investment at all.
I'm not a business major, but I think I could tell that.
It was released in 2012, but it started production at least a decade before. At least a decade before.
That's 10 years.
The idea behind it is the main characters, they are all living in a grocery aisle, but to them it looks like a city.
Okay.
The rules of this world are very poorly conceived. Nothing lines up with anything else. It's very confusing.
Okay.
But they're not food. They're mascots of different food. But they're also not real foods that they're mascots of. Like the main character, Dex Dog Detective. He's the Dex Dog Detective, voiced by Charlie Sheen. He is the mascot of a cereal called Cinnamon Sleuth. And I'm going to tell you this because I didn't know when watching the movie.
Spoilers.
He has a catchphrase called that he says, "The secret's inside," and that's the catchphrase that's on the cereal box, which it never says in the movie. In the background, at one point, you can see that it says that, but throughout, people ask him questions, and he always says, "The secret's inside," and it doesn't make sense unless you know that it's his catchphrase, but you don't. That's just one of the many glaring flaws in it. The animation is disgusting looking, and not even just coming from an animation major.
I was gonna say that you animate, so maybe it touched your heart in a special way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. God, this movie has changed me for the better.
Well, maybe not your heart, but
maybe definitely my heart.
Oh, okay.
Definitely my all of my insides. No, it was originally scheduled for a Christmas 2003 theatrical release.
Yeah, from what you told me, it does sound like a Christmas kind of movie.
Oh, it makes dreams come true. That's for sure.
Yeah.
The secret's inside. But I have a theory that I think there's so much money put into it. They have all these food mascots. They have the chicken of the sea guy or whatever. Yeah, the tuna guy, and they have Vlasic Stork, all these on the cover, and a Twinkie. None of them. I think Mrs. Butterworth makes a cameo, but none of them are main roles. But on the poster, you would assume that the Vlasic Stork, some kind of Looks like a
Mr.
banana, maybe a peanut. I don't
Peanut?
know. He's got a neckerchief. And the deficiency and Miss Butterworth, you would assume they were the main characters, but no. The main character is far off in the distance, holding. He's a dog in a trench coat, holding the hand of some lady character who is also part cat. She's barely in the film, but she's his love interest. I don't want to give too much away on that front, but it's a riveting, exciting tale.
So I had actually never heard about this movie before until you brought it up. Like, I think Gus has heard of it, but how did you chance upon Food Fight?
How did I chance upon Food Fight? Gee, I watched it recently with all of my animation class. We had a big party, and gosh, it was painful to watch. But I enjoyed it. I loved it so much. But it's fun to hate and make fun of. But there's actually a good 25 minutes which will actually give you a headache. No plot happens. I'm warning you this in advance.
Oh, no.
If you want to, you don't have to look at it the entire time because nothing happens. It's the same. It's like just the same shot from slightly different angles for about 25 minutes of like food exploding. It's not food. It looks maybe like yogurt. That's the closest thing that I could say that it looks like.
I like yogurt.
And it's actually nauseating. I had to close my eyes and look away.
No.
It goes on for 25 minutes.
Wow. So would you consider this a classic? So bad it's
Yes.
good. So bad it's good.
Oh, so good. It's great.
Okay. Because I know that one of your early recommendations was The Room, which I actually haven't seen yet. I know Gus loves it.
You should add that to your. The
Yeah,
room is a gem.
Yeah.
No, I would say this is the animated equivalent of The Room.
Sweet.
If not stronger.
Well, Cameron, we will all watch Food Fight and review it.
I'm
and
excited.
give you
I'm
our
excited
feedback.
to hear what you think.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank
being
you
our
for
first
having
guest.
me.
Wow, Cameron, really into that Food Fight.
Yeah, I was
Talked
about
for a
to
whole
say.
5.5 minutes.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Oh, are we back?
Yeah.
back.
Oh, Gus took a little nap.
A little nap, yeah. Feeling a little drowsy.
Food Fight, man.
Food Fight. I'm actually pretty interested to see this movie.
Yeah, same.
It looks pretty hilarious.
Okay, what else?
All right. Next up, Jay Reed. He is recommending an album, which you'll hear in this clip. I actually told him that we had to watch Food Fight for this, and he, before this recording, he actually went on for like a good 10 minutes ranting about Food Fight. He was,
awesome.
yeah, he wasn't in the so bad it's good camp. He was so bad it's painful.
Yeah, I have a feeling I might be that.
So, yeah, this is a clip I recorded with Jay for his recommendation. All right, let's move on to your recommendation.
Yes.
Which is
my recommendation
Ween.
is yes.
It was a band.
Ween is a band.
Okay, and then their album, White Pepper.
White Pepper. Yes.
Okay, so I have actually never heard of Ween. Is it because I'm just lame?
Well, I mean, not exclusively.
Okay.
I heard of Ween through SpongeBob. They did the Loop-de-Loop song where he learns how to tie his shoes.
Yep.
And they did the song Ocean Man at the end of the SpongeBob movie. It's the first song that plays over like the stock footage of waves. And I really liked Ocean Man. And I saw it, I like rewatched it freshman year. And then I listened to that song like over and over again. And I was like, oh man, I'm going to listen to this band now. And then I got an album by them that's on The Mollusk, which is very good.
And then you've been hooked ever since.
And I've been hooked ever since.
But would you
like a fish on the line.
Would you consider Ween obscure? Or how, like, it's definitely not mainstream.
It's I'd say comfortably in the middle.
Okay.
It's because it's not like I would say it's definitely not on the level of like
God only knows.
God only. It's not as well known as God Only Knows, but it's not as obscure as say like Jay Reed or something.
That's a good comparison there.
It's somewhere in the middle.
So this is their 7th album.
This is their
Came
7th
out
album,
in
yes.
the year 2000.
2000, yes.
What would you kind of describe their genre as? Because I have no idea what to
It
expect.
transcends. I mean, it's kind of hard to explain because they've basically just do every genre all the time and sometimes multiple ones at once. But I really hate to like. It's
Narrow it
hard.
down?
It's hard to like accurately describe without either underselling them or sounding really pretentious and being like, oh, they transcend boundaries and, they combine all sorts of a wide variety of influences.
Such as God only knows.
Such as God only... Well, there's definitely some Beach Boys in there, but...
Maybe instead of the genre, like, are there any other bands that have a similar sound that I maybe could get me in the right track of mind? Or they transcend all other acts
transcend
and are
all
completely original?
I don't know. Of the bands that I listen to, there aren't really many that sound the same.
Mm-hmm.
But
how about just White Pepper? Like
just White Pepper, it's very
sounds...
similar to. I mean, there's a lot of Beatles kind of stuff on White Pepper, and they kind of got the name because the guy was like, "Hey, this is like your Sgt. Pepper White Album," and then they were like, "Wait a minute." And so then they named it that. But there's definitely a lot of Beatles kind of songs on this album.
So why did you recommend this album?
I really like it.
Okay.
And if anyone's listening to this, I would highly suggest listening to this album because it is very good.
Would you consider it their best album?
No.
No.
Not quite.
Then why would you choose this over
This is a good entry-level album.
Okay.
This is a good album to jump in. This is a good album if you want to trick someone into liking Ween. You will show them this album and be like, see, it's okay.
Slip them with the White Pepper.
I'm going to... I'm... Okay.
Okay.
That's... Sure.
Last thing. I noticed on the Wikipedia page something kind of odd, that there's a U.S. version and a Japanese version.
Oh, I think that's just a copyright thing because there's a lot of ELO albums that do the same thing, and they just like...
Oh, I didn't know that either.
The Japanese albums, they'll just like add a track to it. And the track that they added to the Japanese version, I believe, is Who Dat, and that is a very good song. So...
But only Japanese have it.
Yes, and it was a B-side on the Stay Forever single. But it's very good if you want like a glimpse into the mind of someone whose life is completely falling apart. It's 2 minutes, and it's probably like pretty easy to locate.
All right. Well, I'm excited to listen to my first Ween album.
Yes,
White Pepper.
And I hope you all are too, America.
All right. Well, thank you, Jay.
Yes. You're welcome.
All right.
Andrew. Thank you.
Goodbye. All right. That was Jay Reed.
Yes. Thank you, Jay. And
Thank you, Jay. Yes.
Have you guys heard any Ween?
Yes.
Other than Ocean Man, I have not, but I've always had an interest in listening to Ween. I've known about them for a while now.
Yeah, same. Ocean Man is the only song I know by them, and it's an awesome song. It's terrific.
Now you could take your first with the White Pepper.
I'm excited.
All right, final recommendation from Kelly Kolff, and it's a movie. So this week we have 2 movies and an album, and we recorded this not too long ago, and it's short. So yeah, Gus really wants to get out of here. It's short. My name is Andrew, one of the hosts of the Wheelhouse. I am here with Kelly Kolff.
You pronounced it right.
Awesome. Okay, and you are here because you're a guest on the show, and you have a recommendation for us.
Yes. Okay. So I'm recommending a movie. It's called Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. And it's based off of a book by the same name from 2012. This movie came out last summer of 2015.
Wait, so the book came out in 2012, and
yes.
3 years later
3 years later, they made the movie.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Okay. And it stars Thomas Mann, who is not really well known, but directed by, I want to make sure I pronounce his name right, Alfonso Gomez-Rejon, I think.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
Sorry.
I looked up what he's directed, and he hasn't directed much besides episodes of The Carrie Diaries and Glee, so there's that. It also has Nick Offerman in it, and Olivia Cook and R.J. Seiler are the other 2 main characters. So it focuses on this guy named Greg. He's a high school senior, and he basically just kind of floats through school, making sure not to be noticed much.
Is Greg the me in the title of the movie?
Yes, he's
Okay.
the me. But his mom tells him that this girl from his school, Rachel, has been diagnosed with leukemia, and his parents basically force him to go hang out with her.
I'm gonna take a guess. She's a dying girl.
Yes.
Okay.
She is the dying girl. And so he goes and tries to hang out with her, and he doesn't really like to make strong connections with people, but they start to form a friendship. And Earl, the third person in the title of the film, he doesn't really like to call him his friend. He calls him his colleague because they both make short films together based off of like parodies of well-known films. And they do animations or they act in them. And that's kind of their little quirky thing that they do. So the movie is really good and was surprisingly awesome. I liked the way Thomas Mann performed in it. I was surprised because my brother went to middle school with him and he said he was an asshole. But he was a good actor in this movie, so it was good. But no, I was pleasantly surprised. The music was done by Bryan Eno.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who I mentioned just recently that I've been going through his, solo studio albums.
Yeah.
And I think they're all phenomenal. Listened to his first 3 so far. Most recently, Another Green World, which is awesome.
I listened to the Airports one.
Yeah.
Which kind of,
The ambient one, yeah.
Kind of freaks me out.
So is the music in here also kind of ambient?
I was rewatching the beginning of it earlier today, and not really. It's just like what you would think of Bryan Eno's music is. I mean, it's not super ambient, but it's just, I don't know. I think it's a good score, though.
Okay, cool.
And, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so I remember hearing about this movie about around the same time Dope came out.
Yeah.
Which I think they came out the same year. And they're both sort of similar, generally critically praised indie films.
Yeah, I haven't seen Dope, but when I saw it come up on Netflix, it reminded me exactly of this movie.
Yeah.
And the way the characters kind of look and dress, it's kind of like, seems like modern, but it's like really quirky, and which I thought was really cool. But I think my favorite part of this movie is that it was genuinely funny. Like, I laughed out loud, which
cool.
I don't usually in movies, but just the things that it's like he says things that you are obviously thinking, and it's just this great, I don't know.
Yeah, with Dope, at times it was funny, but I think generally the writing was a little too forced in the humor.
Yeah.
So it didn't work all the time. So we'll see.
We'll see.
Me and
maybe.
Earl and the dying girl.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll think it's awful because I didn't laugh a single time.
Wow, you might hate it. Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
We'll see. All right, well, thank you for the recommendation. And
no problem.
we will be watching that this week and then coming back next week for the review. So,
Sweet.
thanks again. Thank you, Kelly. That was a
Made it
great
just-
Thank
recommendation.
you.
And we
Thanks,
listened
Kelly.
to the whole thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, not goofing off.
not at all. I'm pretty excited to check that movie out. I heard good things.
Gus.
I don't know what to feel.
Oh.
But I'll be happy to watch it for you, Kelly.
Yeah, shout out.
So, if you want to be a guest on the Wheelhouse, we are opening it up, opening the lines, open the floodgates, release the Kraken, all that good deal.
God.
You can email us at wheelhousecast@gmail.com. Just send me an email saying, hey, I want to recommend something to you guys, and we'll get back to you and tell you yes or no.
Even better, tweet us.
Oh, that too.
Andrew's just learning how Twitter and hashtags work.
Yeah.
So I had to jump in there real quick.
It's a crazy science. You could follow us on Twitter at WheelhouseCast. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/WheelhouseCast. Yeah, with the whole guesting, if you're in the Dallas or SMU area, we could even have you on physically to record. If not, you could possibly record your own audio clip of you recommending something, or just like type up something and we could read it on air. Subscribe to us on iTunes, where you can rate and review us. Still one review. Come on, guys. What are you doing? And I think I'm forgetting. Oh, we're also on YouTube.
Yeah, come to the after
Yeah.
party. Don't forget.
What?
Andrew's not invited.
That's awkward.
Shit. Sterling.
Oh my God, that's embarrassing. You can cut that out, right?
If you're listening, you can still come. Okay. The invite is still extended to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
well-
Andrew remembered to delete this part.
Well,
Sorry, man.
When is it?
Not important.
Oh, well,
What else were you gonna say?
where is it? Is it Gus' house?
It's probably not gonna happen. Yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah,
so.
we changed our mind.
It is happening.
Anyway, I think that is it. Let me consult my handy index card. Yes. Woo! Handily, I've consulted it, and it says I'm done.
Quite handily.
All right, bye.
Wait. Thank you, Sterling. Thank you, Gus.
Thanks, Andrew.
Bye. Thanks, Andrew.
My name's Andrew. Reminding you, a broken wheelhouse is right twice a day.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, I don't know.